Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Apotha. I have an absolutely killer solo survivability slash ad clear dominant Icefall Mantle build for Stasis Titans. So let's get straight into it. We are on pure stasis, as I said, and the reason for that is because of Tectonic Harvest. We do not have access to that with Prismatic, unfortunately, and since Icefall Mantle and this build is centered around keeping Frost Armor and Stasis Shards, this is the perfect aspect for it. So we got Diamond Lance, self-explanatory. We're going to be freezing a lot of targets, so we're going to be getting a lot of Diamond Lances. Tectonic Harvest, we're going to be shattering a lot of stuff, getting a lot of Stasis Shards, and keeping that Frost Armor up and healing like crazy. Fragments, so Whisper of Refraction, we're going to be getting a lot of class ability energy from shattering targets. Not so much the slow, but the shatter, frozen targets. Beautiful. Whisper of Rending. We're using primary ammo as the main source of shattering, so we're going to be doing more damage to those stasis crystals and frozen targets. Whisper of Chains. While we have Frost Armor, we have a chance to get stasis shards from defeating targets. Whisper of Rime, we get more Frost Armor duration, and then Whisper of Conduction. Nearby stasis shards track to our position. This is helpful because when you're in the midst of battle, so to speak, and you're getting your ass rocked, cheeks fondled, you do not want to be running around like a chicken with its head cut off looking for stasis shards. So this is what I recommend. If you don't want to run it, if you're just a Giga Chad Ultra Brain, you can run something else. Glacial Grenade, Shatter. You could run one of these. I don't like these. I think Titan with Glacial Grenade just makes more sense. Getting into the weapons, first things first. Critical Anomaly, you do not have to run this. These two weapons are purely preference. Graviton Spike, this is the main center around when I said our primary ammo damage. I'm not really going to be using the overcharges all too much, but the stasis mode is mainly what I'm going to be using. And I'll get into that in a moment. Okay, looking at the armor mods. So I have a class ability on all of them because I want this pumped as high as possible. You don't have to do this, but I like having an overshield every time I pop my class ability. We have Harmonic Siphon because I'm going to be using the stasis mode a lot and all my weapons are stasis. Dynamo, I get faster super regen when I use my class ability. I'm going to be doing that a lot. Super Font, when I have an armor charge, I will get a bonus super stat. I believe each font is plus 20, so that helps. And then we'll move on to the gauntlets. Grenade Font, same thing. I'm going to be having a lot of armor charges, so I'm not worried about, having a bunch of these. Focusing Strike. I get class ability energy when I do damage with my powered melee. And Bolstering Detonation, I get class ability when I cause damage with the grenade. My armor, I have charged up, so I'm running 2 of these because I get 5 armor charges total. And that way I never have to worry about running out. And then Harmonic Resistance, because I didn't know what else to fill in there. Moving on to the boots, we have Stasis Weapon Surge. I will always have armor charge for this, so I will never have to not worry about it. Elemental Charge. This is the main focus of the armor charges. And the reason for this is because the amount of stasis shards we will be getting, the chance almost becomes a guarantee. And then Installation, I get class ability cooldown each time I pick up an Orb of Power, which I will be getting every now and then. Moving on to the class mark, we have Distribution. So we get all ability cooldowns reduced when we use our class ability. That's helpful. We have Class Font. So we're going to be getting plus 20 to our class ability when we have an armor charge. This pumps it up to 200. Nice. It is extremely nice. And then Outreach reduces our melee cooldown when using class ability. You can change this for Bomber if you prefer grenade over melee. I will have a dim link in the description for anyone who actually wants to just try this build and doesn't feel like going through the effort of this, but this is the premise. Last but not least, we'll move on to the artifact mods. Left column, run whatever. I have these on because I'm using the Graviton Spike. If you want to use Wicked Implement for this build, you could, because it has intrinsic stasis shard generation, but I would rework the build a little bit if you're going to do that. This column, this is where it starts to get juicy. One with Frost. While Frost Armor is active, stasis weapons gain increased reload and stability. Extremely nice for the hand cannon. Being able to reload consistently is always nice. Mental Benevolence. and granting an ally an elemental buff gives class ability energy. And you're probably thinking, what's this guy smoking? This build doesn't give anybody an elemental buff. But with Frost Renewal, this beautiful artifact mod, when you have Frost Armor, taking critical damage releases a burst that freezes nearby combatants and grants Frost Armor to you and nearby allies. So if you're playing with a buddy or two and you're getting smoked, getting absolutely railed, and your Frost Renewal procs, they're also going to get Frost Armor. It is beautiful. And then we got Elemental Coalescence. Defeating targets has a chance to create an elemental pickup matching your equipped super. So in this case, it'd be Stasis Shards. And then we have Shield Crush. When we have Frost Armor, we are going to be getting faster melee and more damage from our melee. And then we have Frigid Glare. While Frost Armor is active, Stasis Precision Final Blows cause combatants to release a freezing burst. So some things to note. This build I do not recommend bringing into any activity with Skulls or higher. If you are going to try and bring it into Skulls, I recommend swapping Graviton Spike for Wicked Implement. That way you can get that healing and Frost Armor from a range rather than being up close and personal. But this build is centered around being aggressive, and that's what it is designed to do. So we are going to test it. Already rallied. We are going to do it on Vex since that's kind of the focus this season for enemies. We're going to start off with trash ads just so you can kind of see how this is. You start in, kind of find a big group of ads. Pop your class item. That's going to freeze. Shatter. With the artifact, we're bursting more frozen targets. Class items up again. You know, we'll freeze these guys. And then all it's going to take is that one shot, and they're all dead. So if I don't get my class ability fully refunded from that, then I can just use my grenade and other forms of shattering. Like let's say, for example, I'll pop it over here. Oh no, I don't have my class item. We'll throw a glacial grenade. Kind of wait for targets to be frozen. We'll shatter that. Got a lot of energy. Shatter that guy. Got my class item back. Pop this. Shatter. Shatter, got my class item back. We'll test it over for Minotaurs. Let's see. Some tankier yellow bar enemies. Do a bit more damage. Kind of get in the center of these guys. Pop my class item. We get full overshield because of the armor font. Shattering, shattering. You can see I'm hardly picking up orbs of power, but I'm getting armor charges, and that is due to elemental charge. Alrighty, so that's basically what this build is gonna do in low-end content. It's absolutely dominating. Like, you cannot die with this build, and if you do, you're probably not comfortable with the build yet. I will now show you a little bit of what it looks like in an activity that's swords. Again, make sure it's dominant with ad clear. The more ads, the better, and the more likely you are to survive. So something to note is the only downside about doing this in higher end content is you are not going to be getting as much like huge shatters very often, just because the enemies are a bit tankier. So I'll go in, pop this, shatter them. You know, kind of wait for the ads to surround me. Shatter them. We got our class ability back. You know, I'll pop this. Shatter them. You know, I'll throw my nade down. Why not? Shatter them. Got my class ability back. And so on. The loop never ends. Okay, we're crit. Pop that. Full overshield. Stasis shards heal me. Pop it again. Shatter. It's light work, honestly. Alright, so that about sums it up. This is the solo ad clear survivability Icefall Mantle build. I absolutely love it. I hope you love it too. There'll be a dim link below. Make sure you check that out. And if you enjoyed the video, drop a comment. Let me know if there's any other build recommendations I should do, or if you want to hear more builds from me. But that's about all. I hope you all have a great morning, evening, afternoon, night, day, whatever time, whatever time zone, wherever you are. And I'll catch you later. Deuces.